all the time we see with RADA and everywhere and all the agricultural entities always spending money on plant section, you know, and this sector, you know, getting a big spend here now, which is, you know, which we welcome. When they announced a spend of $50 million. I think it's going to end up being more than that, because $50 million can't spend and do the amount of things that they are talking about doing. So they are planning to import animals into the country, 200 animals, and this is goat and sheep. And they are mainly looking at genetics. So a lot of different breeds are on the table. You know, Boer, Nubian, Kiko, you know, Alpine, you know, many breeds are on the table to import, but I don't think all of them will make it, because 200 goats is really not a lot, you know, and I think that has to scale down. And so this was supposed to have happened long ago in terms of the importation of the animals, but you know, like everything else, you know, it's been very slow, and we were kind of having a situation where they wanted to bring it in like right now, before the end of the financial. We had to push it back because you can't get goats to buy in the United States, which is the place where they are going to be purchasing the animals. So they can't find the goats to buy at this time, because in America there's a certain breeding season, you know, because of the cold weather and all of that, they have one breeding season, and around in the summertime, you know, June, July, August, in that time is usually the time that animals become available for sale, and that is good quality animals. If you were to buy animals now, it would be, you know, the one left there. And you're not going to really get the right, you know, good quality stuff, a stock as such. So it has been shifted back. So the decision in general is that these animals are going to go to the government's institutions. You know, like Case and Bozels and, you know, the different government institutions, including maybe some schools or so forth who are into the goat rearing and so forth. I don't really know if animals are going to go to individuals, because they would more want to put it into, they might select groups that are strong groups. Because one of the things I would like to encourage is, you know, the cluster group, which, you know, you all are a part of all of this cluster group. Cluster groups makes everything so much easier in moving forward with a lot of things that is going to happen. As leaders, and we are trying to lead certain things, to really go to individuals and have discussions about different things is very difficult. You know, when you have these cluster groups like you see here now, and you can go to a group like this young lady here, and you see her group doing great things, it will give you encouragement, you know, to make recommendations to, well, you know, this group I think would make good use of the funds, or, you know, what is given to them. And the accountability is something that is written into this project. There has to be accountability in everything that is happening. So generally, that's where the animals are concerned. The importation is there. It is alive and well, I would say. Private individuals can also import animals. So based on the understanding so far, when they actually go abroad, there's a team that is going to go abroad, and a committee to do selection of the animals that they are going to import into the island. So when they reach that stage, private individuals, if their animals are at some of the farms that they are visiting, you can buy animals and also import it along with the animals that the governments are bringing here. All right, so this is the Ministry of Agriculture, and the lead organization that is running this program is the Veterinarian Division under Dr. Watson, and also RADA. So RADA is doing most of the recommendation along with, you know, with the Small Ruminants Association. We work together, and in terms of selecting who will get and who will not get and so forth. So we're going to that part now where it's AI. Also, we have imported semen and embryo. So there is available now semen for distribution all over the island. There are different breeds. I know that Boer and Nubian is probably there. Alpine semen is there. So there are some semen that is there right now, and I think there is sheep semen also available. The decision was taken, I think, last week because the program is, need to really start. It hasn't really started in a real way where farmers are benefiting from it right now. So we have made a decision to start with 100 farmers. And 100 farmers is not a lot, but they are planning to do, well, we decided to do St. Elizabeth, St. Catherine, and St. Thomas. Those are the three that was suggested. And one of the reasons why, well, we suggested that was because we have very strong and known cluster goat farmers in St. Catherine, strong cluster group farmers in St. Elizabeth and also in St. Thomas. I would say to the as leaders here in the Kingston and St. Andrew area, that goat farmers that exist in your areas and so forth, you need to put them in a cluster group that if you want to benefit from the AI program or benefit from anything that is coming along, we are going to be working with groups first. So the groups, we need to get the goat farmers together within the different areas, have groups, and have an organized group that, for example, when the RADA representative or go to visit the farms, because they're going to have to do inspection, they would come, look at the animals, see if they meet the standards. They have to be of a certain health and condition, the environment where you rear the animals. They will look at different things like that. And after that, they'll come and do pregnancy tests and and prepare the animals for the AI process. The number that was thrown out, I think it was 6,000 farmers should benefit from this AI program. So in general, that is what is supposed to happen. I want to say that over the years, right now goat farming is very, very strong and powerful now, because right now I don't know you can't get goat to buy anymore. It's very hard to come by. And people who rear goat are, the price is going up, and
the predator last, and
the predator last is they're biting away at it, and it's not the predator last, I think, that is killing it. Predator last is killing some farmers with it, and is killing the
industry,
the growth, and you have farmers who are coming out of it, but you have a lot of farmers who are also going into it, So it is happening on both sides of the spectrum, and the value is going up also. But generally speaking, most of it that I see is small farmers, and we want the farmers now to start to grow in this industry. In other words, we want to see farmers having larger numbers of animals, and I'm not seeing it in the way that I would like to see it. Most farmers, we have a 10 animal or a 10 goat or a 20 goat or smaller numbers, but we want to see farmers grow in a huge way. And what I want to say that I noticed and that I see all around the place is that we're having housing problems, nutrition problems. I like to say that I love to use the word shock. If you shock the animals, just like even us as people, if we shock our bodies, like for example, we don't sleep at night, that's a shock to your body. If we drink and drunk ourselves, we shock our body. If you don't eat the right food, or you don't eat on time, you don't eat your breakfast and whatever, and eat a certain way, we shock our bodies. And when we shock our bodies, we end up getting sick. You know, this is what our immune system, we get our immune system is deprived. I'm losing the word that I want to say here now. But it affects our immune system, and then when COVID and flu and cold and everything comes, we compromise your immune system. That's the word. We compromise our immune system when we don't do the right things in our life. You know, like even to quarrel and cuss, and you start to cuss somebody and you're carrying on. You get upset, your stomach tight up, you know, you shock your system. It's the same thing that happens in the goat industry, the pig industry, any one of these industries. If you don't take good care of that animal, so if you have a goat and you feed him every morning at 8 o'clock, don't feed him at 9, feed him at 8 every morning. Don't miss it, and don't believe that today is Sunday, so I'm not about to feed him. You only ever feed him one time for the day. You're going to shock him and stress him. If it is that you don't have a proper housing facility, you have the goat in mud and rainfall, and you just have him in the dirt and him in feces and, you know, things like that. No proper housing, you're going to shock him. When the rain falls, you get acidosis, those bacteria, you know, proliferate, increase them numbers and attack the goat. When you look, you see goat having diarrhea all over the place, you see bloating, you see all kind of sicknesses. This is because of the stress that we put the animals under. So if you rear these animals under good condition, proper housing, proper nutrition, these are the key things that you need. Genetics play a very little role in the animals. I like to tell you that the little common goat is probably the better one most times to rear because they are so tough and resilient and all these things. And I see things that I don't like. I see people take goat, tie them out in the rain and leave them for 2-3 days. Farmers tell me that goat don't drink water, you know, all of these kind of things. I go around the place and I see it all the time. So you're putting these animals under extreme stressful conditions. And guess what happened? It diminishes your production. You're not able to breed up and grow as fast as you can. You see, one of the things, you know, I see farmers will rear 10 goats and 20 goats. And I sometimes ask them, how you don't go beyond that? Boy, you know, somebody did have so much goat one time, but them start dead off for me. You know, you have those problems. They start to dead off for you, and you know, it's hard to move up the ladder with it because the nutrition and your housing facility has to be very, very good. You know, they need energy, just like we do. They need energy. They need protein. They need minerals. They need water. They need a balanced diet. And one of the things I want to say to you with the small ruminant sector, it is so important because these are the animals that eat grass and bush. We don't have to buy back feed and depend on foreign imports. We can feed them on the bush, and the rabbit is another one. You see rabbit rearing in the olden days, I mean, I wasn't around then, but you know, I went as a little child. I remember going to the market. I think we used to call it a wet market. And you used to go there them time then you buy live animals. You know, the wet market was alive and well, rabbit and pig and goat and all those kind of things. We had wet markets all over the country. And the chicken industry never really come in until maybe about 50 years ago, and that is really the chicken industry come into being. So farmers, when you in the country parts, if you talk to the old timers, they used to rear rabbit. Almost all the country people, if you talk to them, they used to rear rabbit. Rabbit is a very healthy meat. And no, it's not expensive if you grow it in your backyard. you know, in terms of the whole chicken thing, if a lot of these farmers was to say, go into a little rabbit rearing, not in a big way, and sustain yourself, you know, replace some of the chicken, for example, is something that we need to look at. All right, so that's basically what I want to bring here. I don't know if there's any questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please ask with Higher Heights Farmers Group. Yeah, I just want to know, when the importing of the animals, will the government putting like trackers underneath the skins, as when you distribute it to the farmers, you can track it just in case people them come in and take it. And the next thing, what the officer was saying earlier, which I endorse, I wouldn't mind if they could do it in the fishing industry, like for the boats. When you're going out, put trackers on the boats. Because sometimes when you go to sea, man, them thief your boat too, you know. You can track it and easily find it.
Alright.
And I don't finish. Most of the farmers don't report stealing of the animals again, like goat and things, because it come like a waste of time. To be honest, officer, like a waste of time. I lose so much goat it that I can't even count. Trust me. I'm like a waste of time. So I don't know if the gentleman here can give us some assistance from rather here. You know?
Yeah, that complaint you have is real. It's very real. A lot of farmers, when I talk to them, they don't bother even want to report it. But it is not really a good thing. You should really report that, because maybe the predator loss unit might believe it's not so bad enough.
It doesn't make up the numbers.
Yeah, but when it make up the numbers, the data. You see, when you make up that numbers, you know, then that data is very powerful, you know. It pushes policies, you understand? And I'm going to leave him to talk about that. But it pushes the policy, and those numbers really make a difference. Can you imagine if we were having a meeting here and only 3 or 4 people come inside here? These people wouldn't want to be here. JS wouldn't be relevant. When you see such a strong meeting and you know, such powerful people inside here, you know, it makes JS very relevant. That is why JS is such a relevant organization that can't be pushed aside, because it's people power. You know. And the second thing now was about the tracking. So a part of this program, it is divided into 3 different segments, right? So there is the registry. So there is a registry that exists for cattle, right? But there's no register for the goat yet, but they are putting it into place here now. The funds have been allocated to put in an official registry where farmers can register their animals, and there's going to be a tagging. The discussion of putting the microchip, all of that, I don't think it reached there, because I don't even think it reached there with cattle. But it's not there with the goat. So it's really just the same tagging method. But there is conversations about, you know, there's even conversations about even as far as blood work and all those kind of things. Those conversations are there, but I'm not going to tell you that that is going to happen right now. But the registry is going to be important. You know, there needs to be, I don't want to talk about it because I'd like the predator loss unit need to talk. But you know, for me personally, we need to clamp down on other sectors, because the predator loss unit can't manage the load that is there. It's only like about 7 or 8 vehicles them have. I mean, that can't do it, and it's just a small number of them. And when you go in a police station to make a report, murder and other things is going to take precedence over goat and things. The police might not even pay any mind, because if you have 3 cases of murder and you come in there and say them thief 100 goat from you, you'll never get a call made because they are overloaded with so much work. So you have to understand that. But where I think it makes a difference, we need to clamp down on the markets, we need to clamp down on the supermarkets, the transportation. We shouldn't even be transporting no farm products unless without the proper receipts, and not just receipts, and we need to go further than that. That, you know, but I will ask him to talk about it in details. We need to close down everywhere that is buying the goat meat and buying the products. We need to lock it down, especially the restaurants. We should have the police, for example, just on a spot check or have a unit that them just visit some restaurant. Where you get this meat from? Show us the receipt, show us this. What? Putting people on the spot. That's where I think you need to really attack it. You know, to try and attack it from somebody. The police is not big enough to monitor the whole
it's not bad enough, because one morning carrying out my animals, right, to feed. And the police just drive in and stop me, and I have to show them, say, yes, I'm a registered goat farm. Right? And that was good for me. So I just wish I'm not do the same thing to the other people. Stop and check and say, unannounced. You know, and then I feel we can move forward.
You see the cluster group that I tell you about? You don't have I bet you don't have a goat cluster group in your area. You probably don't.
We don't have a cluster group like cluster group, but all of the goat farmers in the group. And we do
Hear this what happened now. So I will tell you what you do now. You see the cluster group, you make sure you have a cluster group of all of your goat farmers, right? And they invite him to come and put things in place. And make sure you know the person who is in charge of that you have him telephone number. He will give you that information right here today. Any one of you who want to know who is in charge of your area, which police you call, give you the contacts and all of that. This gentleman is here today and he will give you that. So when you get that thing, you will have somebody to call and discuss, you know, with him the way forward. You know, because it's everybody, you know, all of us have to help with it, you know. Them alone can't do it. And most times in my opinion, well, not my opinion, I can tell you, 99% of the time when you see these both things going on, is people in your community, or the man who will help you look after your farm, or somebody who used to work for you, and it's people that is sitting down right with you. Sometimes I've even seen family members have a thing, and they were thieving out and pick them over and over. Every time him go there, them a cry upon him, and his sister was taking out to pick them and sell them. So even family members will do that. You understand? So, you know, any other question? All right.
Thank you, sir.